So we need to talk about the elephant in the room.
I'm trying to get my coochie stretched.
For way too long now, we've had to sit here and ignore the depraved behavior of a certain community, all on behalf of equality. But not all cultures are equal. And culture is based on the behavior of your people, while the behavior of your people is based on your nature. Science even shows us that animals just inherently know what to do because their ancestors learned the hard lessons for them in life. And with that being said, according to a Harvard geneticist, we evolved differently.
You know, if you want to make a strong argument, you might argue that non-Africans today are Neanderthals.
So for some time now, we have been forced to submit to and accept a group of people that are taught to see us as inferior. They're taught to see themselves as the original humans. Only that's not the truth. This is a clip from Keltanian Chronicles.
Ghost species. DNA. Sub-Saharan Africans contain up to 20% DNA from an unknown super archaic hominin species.
So right there, science shows that they have, he said 20%. It shows that they have up to 19% of a species we don't have.
Denisovan DNA. Found in populations from Papua New Guinea, Australia and parts of East Asia, with some groups carrying up to 6% Denisovan DNA.
And in fact, we all have a different species of hominin in us. So if we all came from the same place, why don't we have the same DNA? And David Reich is here claiming that white people are just, and really all non-Africans in general, are just evolved Neanderthals. Well, if he wants to claim that, then I think it's safe to say with their 19%, they evolved from that ghost ancestor. Maybe you could even say Eastern Asians evolved from Denisovans. And before the out of Africa theory was accepted, I believe there was also an out of Europe and an out of Asia theory. And they just kind of went with the out of Africa one for grant funding, even though the skeleton wasn't complete. You know, many people will probably be sitting there looking at me thinking, well, even if he is right, he's racist for bringing this up. Yet black people have been using this exact same type of information to justify behavior like this.
White people are inferior species.
Hey, give her a hand. Give her a hand. Give her a hand, man. She's different.
So you guys think you're God's true chosen people, do you?
Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are the real chosen people of God.
This notion that you're God's true chosen people came from a man who was essentially using the logic that everything in Africa is black, and that the lost tribe of Dan just shrugged their shoulders, went right back to Africa, got re-enslaved, and then sold to the Americas. That's disrespectful to the tribe of Dan. Especially when there is some credibility to the notion that they may have become the Danes and spread all over Europe. I've even heard y'all claim Jesus was black, quoting some verse in Revelations where it mentions that he had skin like burnt bronze and such. You do realize Mediterranean people can come in a darker shade of brown, right? You guys aren't the only ones like that. Also, that verse was metaphoric. Unless you think Jesus' eyes will literally be glowing red and his words be cutting people apart like swords. I suppose the two witnesses will literally have fire coming out of their mouths as well. You know, the only time the Bible actually gives us a real description of what Jesus may have looked like is when it tells us that he hid in Egypt and he blended in amongst the people because he looked like them. Real Egyptians. Mediterranean people. Not their southern enemies. And in all honesty, I really hate that we even need to have this conversation. But we absolutely do. Because we've been letting a group of jealous individuals lie about the truth and abuse our people, all under the guise of receiving justice for a trade that our people ended. A trade that was named after Slavic people because they kept taking Slavic women and enslaving them. Our ancestors paid dearly, in many cases coming from small towns where they had never even seen a slave, in offering to die for a cause that they felt was righteous. And for what? For you to treat us like we're subhuman and like you have the right to abuse us?
One way black people achieve true liberation, that's by taking it in blood. There has to be blood all over the floor.
Treat us like we're subhuman, all while you have up to 19% of a completely different species that nobody else has. Y'all open Pandora's box trying to make us look like Neanderthals, so enjoy it. David Reich wants to say we're evolved differently, so there you have it. We're not the same species. Look up what Noah said to his sons, Genesis 9:18 through 29. See, his black son took advantage of him and lusted after Noah while he was drunk and nude in a vulnerable state. Then the black son went and got his brothers and tried to drag them into his behavior with him. I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds like that's explaining exactly how black people behave. They are very lustful. They will take advantage of you when you're in a vulnerable position, and they try to drag us into this behavior with them, trying to act like it's the cool way to be. I want places to my own people. It is our natural right, and every person on the planet deserves that. It is insane to think that just merely mentioning this will get me labeled as a racist, yet black people are using this exact same type of information to justify committing atrocities against white people all across the world.
Shoot to kill. Yamasa.
While we're sitting here being told to cover our eyes and pretend like it's not happening.
Can we just start this conversation by agreeing that Afrikaners are not facing genocide?
That in the future, you may very well call for the slaughter of white people.
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes.
So I'm done. I don't care anymore. Call me a racist. I'm standing with my people just like y'all have been doing this whole time, trying to act like we're racist for even thinking about doing that. And I'm not the only one who's fed up with this.
On Friday, young men from the Loyalist community in Portadown on the streets. Fireworks, masonry, petrol bombs, all hurled at police lines. Y'all want to treat us like we're pushovers and leech off of a society that our ancestors built with their literal blood? You fuck around and find out. That's all I'm gonna say. And to the other white people who are waking up, like Lily Gaddis and Shameless Spurg, go subscribe to them. God bless you all. But please, for the love of God, stop blaming the Jewish people. This anti-Semitism, like we're starting to look real similar to how things used to be back in the day, but that needs to stop. The decent Jewish people are dealing with the exact same thing that we've been dealing with. They're being told by tyrants and social media influencers that they need to be woke and let people into their country, people who hate them and want to treat them like they're subhuman.
And clearly internationally today, you've got Passover and Ramadan overlapping, and now there are continued attacks on one of the most important holy sites for...
They're being told to just be degenerate and deplorable and have all the sex they want. They are in the exact same boat we are in.
Of America's highest court in recognizing same-sex marriage, I-24 News reporter Uri Shapiro looks at the situation of the LGBT community in Israel.
Us white Europeans and Mediterranean people, we need to unite together in this. I mean, Islamic people want all of us dead. And black people are apparently now the true Egyptians, the true chosen people. They're the true samurai, the true Native Americans. They're the true Vikings. They're the true everything. You mark my words, everyone else. What they're doing to white people, it won't end with us. If we weren't here, they would just pick one of you as their new target. I think that's enough of a rant for today, so you all have a good one.